Africa has been a mystery for a while. Some people see it as a place with wars, poverty, and not much development. But these ideas are changing as more people are learning the real truth about Africa. The real beauty of Africa has attracted many visitors, especially African Americans. However, before we begin our video, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. African Americans have a special connection to Africa that sets them apart from other groups. For many of them, Africa represents where their ancestors were born and a strong tie to their history. Tragic transatlantic slave trade separated millions of Africans from their families, cultures, and traditions. They were taken to America and suffered from being enslaved and treated unfairly for many years. So when African Americans visit Africa, it's not surprising that they feel a deep sense of being part of it. Many of them have even talked about feeling like they've come home when they arrive in Africa. Lately, more and more African Americans are trying to connect with their ancestors' roots by becoming citizens of African countries. This growing interest is because they might feel unhappy living in other places, miss their traditions, and see chances for jobs and politics in Africa. Many African nations have noticed this interest and are making it easier for African Americans to become citizens. Named after the Swahili word for roots, Mzizi is a clothing brand that brings together people from the African diaspora. Their clothes have a sporty style and celebrate culture and heritage. They've even worked with Marvel to make a Black Panther jersey. Famous magazines like Hypebeast and Vogue have featured them. People in Nigeria have been talking about having dual nationality for a long time. Right now, Nigeria lets most people have citizenship in two countries at once. They can be citizens of Nigeria and another country at the same time, but there are some rules about who can become a Nigerian citizen through a process called naturalization. According to Nigerian law, if someone becomes a citizen of another country through naturalization, they can't also become a citizen of Nigeria through naturalization. This means that if someone becomes a citizen of another country in a certain way, they can't later become a citizen of Nigeria in the same way. However, if you are originally from Nigeria or your family is from Nigeria, you can become a Nigerian citizen through naturalization without giving up your other citizenship. So if you were born in Nigeria or have Nigerian family roots, you can become a Nigerian citizen without losing your citizenship from another country. Just in September 2022, Nigeria gave citizenship to 286 people from America, Europe, and other places. They were told to be good citizens and enjoy all the rights and good things that come with being Nigerian. The former president spoke to them at an event and said that by showing their loyalty to Nigeria, they'll get love and loyalty in return. Out of these 286 people, 208 became citizens through a process called naturalization, and 78 got citizenship through another process called registration. Liberia, a West African nation founded by freed African American slaves, grapples with citizenship complexities. It once banned dual citizenship, preventing Liberians with foreign citizenship from having both Liberian and foreign passports. In 2022, President Waya changed this, allowing Liberians of African descent to gain citizenship through marriage, adoption, birth, or parentage. This shift from past laws marks inclusivity, unlike the previous exclusive rules for African descent. Yet dual citizens can't hold top positions, like president, finance minister, central bank governor, or key roles in security or law enforcement, reshaping Liberia's citizenship landscape. Sierra Leone made citizenship changes to be more inclusive. From 2006 to 2017, people with other citizenships could still keep their Sierra Leone citizenship. The aim was to make all Sierra Leoneans feel they belong, no matter where they're from. But a rule since 1962 says only those with African parents can be citizens by birth, criticized for being unfair. In 2021, Sierra Leone said people from the African diaspora can become citizens if they prove their African descent. The Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs partnered with AfricanAncestry.com to help. This opens citizenship to Africa's peaceful land for those tracing their roots. Getting Gabonese citizenship is guided by legal rules, including Gabon's constitution, the Gabonese Nationality Code, and international agreements. These laws decide how people can become Gabonese citizens. There are different ways to do it. One way is just Solai, which means being born in Gabon. Another way is just Sanguinis, which means being born to Gabonese parents. If you're connected to Gabon like through marriage or family, you might also be able to become a citizen. Recently, famous people like Samuel L. Jackson and Ludacris got Gabonese citizenship. Samuel L. Jackson did a DNA test for a show called Finding Your Roots, which showed he's related to the Bantu people in Gabon. Being from a certain place is mainly about your family background. For Eritrea, if one of your parents is from there, you can usually become a citizen. This is true even if you were born somewhere else or live somewhere else now. Sometimes, if you can show that your family comes from Eritrea, you might be able to ask for citizenship at their embassy or consulate in your country. Eritrea now also lets people who aren't originally from there become citizens if they have lived there. A famous example is Tiffany Haddish, an American actress and comedian who got Eritrean citizenship because of her Eritrean roots. In 2019, Ghana made news by announcing plans to offer citizenship to people of African descent, especially African Americans. This was part of Ghana's Year of Return campaign, marking 400 years since the arrival of the first enslaved Africans in North America. The aim was to invite those with African roots to reconnect with their heritage. African Americans and others from the African diaspora were encouraged to visit and explore their ancestry. Eligible participants could even apply for Ghanaian citizenship. While Ghana's right to abode law lets people of African heritage stay indefinitely, citizenship is at the discretion of Ghanaian authorities, not guaranteed. African Americans often feel like they don't fully belong because of racism and being a minority. But when they visit African countries, they find a place where they fit in well. The different parts of their identity come together in a beautiful way. They're treated equally, accepted, and their shared history is valued. In those places, African Americans aren't seen as different, but are welcomed as equals. When they think about going to Africa, they'll find a warm welcome. Many African nations are inviting them to come. Now the question isn't if they should visit Africa, but which country in this amazing continent they should choose to go to. What do you think about more African countries giving African Americans citizenship? Share your thoughts in the comments. Also, remember to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with others, and subscribe to the New Africa channel for more interesting videos in the future. Thank you.